You ever smell a plant before you even see it? That's what happens with the Texas kidneywood. It's not just the bees that track it down. The second it blooms, the scent hits you. Tangerine, sweet, almost like citrus peel and sunshine. And then if you get close and stand still long enough, you'll hear it. This right here is why kidneywood has become one of my absolute favorite Texas native plants to grow. Forget delicate ornamentals, this thing thrives in brutal soils, barely asks for a sip of water, and still manages to smell like a citrus grove in the heat of late summer. Today, I'm walking you through everything that I've learned observing and growing this plant, the Texas kidneywood, around my own property, where it works best, why it drives the bees absolutely wild, and how you can get that same summer scent and pollinator buzz going in your own yard. So, I've planted several kidneywoods to see how they perform in different spots. My first and oldest kidneywood right here is under my beautiful mature Anaqua tree. I absolutely love that tree. The kidneywood has bloomed and done okay, but honestly it's a bit more scraggly than I'd like. I suspect it's not getting quite enough sun. This year I planted several more Texas kidneywoods in the hottest, driest areas of my property with much greater sun exposure. I've been giving these ones, planted just a few months ago, regular deep waterings because the extra water will help a Texas kidneywood grow noticeably faster as it's establishing. I'm expecting that these Texas kidneywoods that I've planted here throughout the hottest, driest, most punishing part of my property, here along the edges of my dry creek bed, will take off and perform much better than my first one planted under the mature Anaqua tree in the backyard. They are already blooming now after being in the ground for just a couple months. To break this down, here's where the kidneywood really excels in the landscape. You can use it as an accent tree or understory shrub where you want that unmistakable aromatic presence. When it's in full bloom, the fragrance hangs in the air. You don't have to touch it. You just walk by and it finds you. That makes it perfect near patios, walkways, or anywhere you'll pass through regularly and catch that burst of sweet citrus on the breeze. It's showy, of course, when in bloom, with those ornamental white flower spikes, so think about sight lines from windows or seating areas. The open, airy structure of the kidneywood works well as a specimen plant or grouped with other, more structural evergreen natives. For specific placement, slopes are ideal, or rocky slopes with limestone or caliche soils. The Texas kidneywood evolved in the brushlands and chaparral of the Edwards Plateau and the Rio Grande Plains. So those challenging limestone-dominated sites or gravelly rocky sites are exactly what the Texas kidneywood expects. Dry, sunny beds really are ideal, especially on the south or west side of a home where intense sun and reflected heat can bake the soil. Just avoid dense or maybe even partial shade. That's where you get a more spindly growing plant like I have here with some disappointing blooms. These are the spots where other plants might struggle with poor drainage or alkaline conditions, but kidneywood thrives. It's a great fit near patios, driveways, or rocky slopes where drainage is excellent and irrigation is minimal to non-existent. And given that these mature at 8 to 10 feet wide, space them accordingly if you're planting multiple ones. They can be shaped into more tree-like forms with pruning or left to develop their natural shrub habit. But if you want your kidneywood to really stand out, pair it with the right neighbors. Here's the combos that I'd plant it with. Cenizo nearby for year-round silver, greenish structure, as the kidneywood is deciduous, right? They want the same calcareous soils, and the cenizo is evergreen. The Texas lantana in front for continuous summer color and similar bloom timing. Agarita or evergreen sumac for evergreen structure. And then maybe Zexmenia for bright pollinator-friendly blooms and a tough, low-growing texture that handles heat and drought as well. Something I find interesting about the name, kidneywood and its western relative were traditionally used in remedies for kidney and bladder ailments, which is how it's got its common name, right? Kidneywood. The wood has also been used for dyes and has the unusual property of being fluorescent in water. Of course, given the traditional medicinal uses, this isn't something to experiment with casually. Anyhow, let me show you what makes this plant so valuable for wildlife. When Kidneywood blooms, it becomes an absolute bee headquarters. These white flower spikes aren't just pretty, they're perfectly designed for bee access. The small flowers are arranged in dense clusters that make it easy for bees to move from flower to flower efficiently. I've watched dozens of different bee species working these blooms just now, from tiny sweat bees to large carpenter bees. What's interesting really is the timing. Kidneywood blooms intermittently from May through October, with the heaviest flowering in late August and September, when many other plants had previously shut down from the heat stress of summer, and they're awaiting a slightly cooler start to fall. And so the Kidneywood is actually filling a critical gap in the pollinator calendar when food sources are scarce. And the blooms do respond to rainfall. After summer rains, you'll often see increased flowering activity, but the plant doesn't necessarily need rain to bloom. And in fact, we haven't really got good precipitation here in San Antonio for a couple weeks now. This plant does just take advantage of moisture when it is available. And as a member of the pea family, Kidneywood forms nitrogen-fixing nodules on its roots, partnerships with soil bacteria that allow it to pull nitrogen from the air and convert it into a usable form through the soil. That means it can thrive in poor rocky soils where other plants struggle. And instead of just hanging on, it puts that extra energy into blooming. And so in a way, it's making its own fertilizer, and as well, a fertilizer for the plants around it. The Kidneywood is also a host plant for the dog-faced butterflies. Both southern and California dog-faced species use it for laying their eggs, so you're supporting the complete butterfly life cycle, not just providing nectar. And when you think that the Kidneywood is just about bees and butterflies, it turns out Kidneywood helps another pollinator you might not expect: bats. Here's why that matters more than you think. So the Kidneywood is specifically recommended for cultivating bat-friendly yards because of its light-colored, fragrant flowers that provide nectar sources for nocturnal pollinators, bats. Bats are incredible for natural pest control, eating hundreds of metric tons of mosquitoes every year in Texas alone. A single bat can eat up to 2/3 of its body weight in insects each night. Also, the seeds here that develop on a Texas Kidneywood after the flowering attracts cardinals and other seed-eating birds, and the open, airy structure also provides good nesting sites for smaller birds. A fair warning though, deer love young Texas Kidneywood, so be sure to provide some protection from them if you are planting them in an area with good deer pressure. Want a tidy tree or a sprawling wild shrub like that one behind me? This next part determines how Kidneywood shapes itself and what you can do about it. Let's walk through what to expect with Kidneywood season to season and the simple care that keeps it performing. So again, as we mentioned briefly before, Kidneywood is going to bloom intermittently from May to October, but the heaviest bloom time, as we mentioned before, is late August and September, exactly when many other plants have really called it quits because of the summer heat. Each flower spike here lasts about 2 weeks, but the plant keeps producing new ones throughout this long season. That's what gives you consistent pollinator support for vaguely 3 to 6 months. But for pruning and management, the Kidneywood tends to sucker from the base once it reaches its maximum height, which honestly this Kidneywood right here might be. This creates the broader spreading shrub form that you'd be accustomed to with a naturally growing Texas Kidneywood. If you want to maintain a tree shape, then you'll need to prune it periodically to remove suckers and shape it. The plant does respond really well to pruning. You can cut it back pretty hard to encourage more blooms and a more compact growing habit. If you happen to have the plant in the wrong place and want to transplant it, small plants under 3 feet are easily moved if you get an adequate root ball around the roots. For propagation, Kidneywood is easily grown from first-year seeds. Collect the seed pods when they've turned brown and dry. The pods are going to be thin and papery, so you don't need to remove the seeds before planting. Slightly crush the pods and plant them together with the seeds outdoors in late March. So, That's the Texas Kidneywood, a tangerine-scented, bee-attracting shrub that evolved to thrive right here in rocky, limestone-heavy Central Texas soils. While others might be fighting their soils, Kidneywood simply grows. No fertilizer, no irrigation, no fuss, just roots in limestone and life buzzing all around. If you want to learn how to bring more plants like this into your landscape, first, sign up for my free 7-day email mini course, 7 things I wish I'd known before starting with Texas native plant landscaping. It'll help you to avoid the trial and error and start planting with real confidence. You'll learn how to match plants to your part of Texas, how to design around rainfall and soil, not against it, and how to build something beautiful that lasts. You can sign up at coryames.com/txnative or hit the link in the description below. Second, if you want even more depth, I offer in-depth written profiles for every native plant I cover on this channel, just like the Texas Kidneywood. So if you want the complete Kidneywood write-up, for example, or you're looking for planting notes, pruning reminders, propagation steps, or seasonal care details all in one place, that's available to my Patreon members. It's less than the price of a single 1-gallon native shrub at your local nursery, and way more likely to save you time, money, and frustration. My goal is simple: help you find success with the plants that call your part of Texas home. So let me help you, and look for the link to my Patreon down below. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.